so many of our young people who are out here committing crimes are coming from broken families. The families have been broken for generations. The leadership has been gone for generations. It could be 50 or 100 years of the lack of leadership, of the lack of somebody standing up in that family to break this cycle, to break the chain. And I wanted you to see that there is something else outside of the hood. There is something else outside of the crime wave that you get stuck in, that you think that this is the only way that I can make it out of here. There is something better. Just like traveling from one side of town, like we talked earlier about the hood and going to Beverly Hills, or the hood and going to Buckhead, or the hood and going to Times Square. There is life outside of crime. But you're going to have to bust your behind, pray, and get to work. It's not going to be easy. And if you think, oh, well, I could just keep the block hot. Keeping the block hot ain't easy. You can get yourself killed and locked up until you're a very old man. Or now you done started a family and you done got caught up into something, and now you going to jail, and your son is going to grow up just like you without his father. And the only example he got is my dad is in jail, so to hell with everything else. I'm going to get out here and roll with my homeboys, and I'm going to be just like my daddy. And you have grown up hating your father because he left you like that with no leadership. So how you think your son going to look at you? How you think your daughter is going to look at you? And then you hear, because I'm telling you, I've talked to people that's locked up. I go to jails and I talk to men. And I had a gentleman tell me he'd been locked up for 20 years. When he got locked up, his baby girl was a little bitty baby in diapers. Now, excuse the phrase, but now she a hoe on the street. And when she finally came to visit him, he said, "What's wrong with you? How you going to sit here and let your life go like this? How you going to sit here and be a hoe on the street?" She simply told him, "Daddy, how the hell can you tell me anything when you've been locked up here? If anything, you was a hoe for the drug dealer you was working for. I'm just being like you, Dad. I just wanted to see you so I know, so you can see what I look like, and so you can know what your child doing because you weren't there for me." Now, this is real. I talk to guys locked up all the time. I talk to lifers who are never, ever, ever going to get out of jail. And they regret everything that they did when they was young. And they wish to God they could talk to some of these young folks out here who think prison is cool, who think education is stupid, who think being on the streets and keeping the block hot, that's just the thing because all the rappers talk about it. It's cool. It is garbage. Most of these rappers never ever lived in the hood. Most of these rappers never been broke. They come from educated parents living in golf communities. That's just the truth. They are entertainers. And you are listening to somebody selling you a pipe dream. That's the reality. And none of these rappers are going to come get you out of jail that you idolize. They're not going to bail you out. They're going to leave you right there because they don't know you. You just some other dude who locked up. That's the reality of the situation. And some of you young people, you guys are growing up without hope because your parents don't care. They just don't care. They've abandoned you. Well, young man and young woman, I was abandoned by my dad too. And I had to understand Dad didn't care about me, even to his dying day. Dude didn't care. But I had to understand that the only person that really matters who needs to care about me is me. I needed to care about me. I didn't define myself because I was abandoned by my father. I didn't define myself by the way how other people looked at me. It's hard to be different. It's hard to say no to your peers because they judge you. You have to be at school with them all the time. Or they tell you school is lame. You need to be out here and make this money, dog. It is hard. And especially when you're a teenager, you're short-sighted. You don't see the value of your future because you feel you don't have a future. Well, let me tell you something. Every idiot that is telling you you ain't worth nothing and you just need to go on and sell this rock or commit these crimes because you ain't got no future, they some damn liars. Don't sit here and fall for the okie doke. You are worth more than a jail cell. Your life is worth more than being incarcerated and your freedom taken from you. As some dude or many other dudes take advantage of you in a jail cell. This is real. Rappers don't talk about folks being raped in jail. Rappers don't talk about folks being killed in jail. Rappers say nothing about that because they don't know nothing about that. They don't want to talk about that because that's not going to help them sell records. This is the truth. So, young people, ones who feel that there is no hope, stop lying to yourself. Because just like Daniel Blackman, I am an example of coming up through some very, very awful circumstances. I was raped when I was 11 years old by a camp counselor who said nobody would care about me. Abandoned by a father who didn't care enough to love me. Homeless on the streets by the time I was 19 and urinated on by 3 rich kids who said, look at the piss poor black kid. They didn't care nothing about me. I was worthless. But if I was to fall for the lies of these people, I would not be here. It's only by the grace of God and by the fact that I stopped believing the lies being told to me, that I start seeing myself as worth something, that I'm better than somebody pissing on me, that I'm better than somebody using me as a drug mule, that I'm better than somebody looking at me as though I'm just garbage and I'm a thug. And unfortunately, like people who have talked about Trayvon Martin after he died, we glad he's dead. He was just a thug. I'm better than what these people see. And I thank God that some sense got slapped into me, that there are people who surrounded me that actually cared, who actually said, get up, get your business going, write this damn book and help people. Get you a radio show with your wife and help people. Convince other people who are being lied to right now that they are worth something and society can benefit from them, not just them benefit off society. So young people, you have been lied to generation after generation after generation. When you going to get tired? When are you going to get sick and tired of people defining you off of their own political agendas? When are you going to get tired of suffering unnecessarily over decisions that you make? You're going to have to stop blaming mama and daddy, because mom and daddy are responsible for some things, but only you are responsible for your life. Nobody can force you to do anything that you don't want to do. And if you want a life like a Dwight Howard, a Daniel Blackman, if you want it, then go get it. Get educated. Your dream is worth it. Your life is priceless. And I know I had to say this, Toby, because I've seen too much. I've seen too much. I've seen the pain in the eyes of these inmates when I go and visit them in jail. Mm-hmm. I've seen the pain in the eyes of a 17-year-old kid who was tried as an adult. He was locked up in there, and he told me about him being raped repeatedly, 30 times in 3 months. Mm-hmm. Being raped. And then the people who he hung with, his crew, they saw him being raped. The people he was committing the crimes with, the folks who said they had his back, they watched as man after man forced themselves on him. And his crew was so afraid, they just stayed away because they themselves didn't want to get raped. It was a harsh reality to that young man. And he said, Mr. Nyghtstorm, I wish to God that I had a time machine that I could stop before it was too late. Because it ain't cool being raped in prison. It ain't cool being beat up. It ain't cool having my food taken from me every time I try to eat, or somebody knocking it to the floor. And I can't do nothing about it but sleep with one eye open and hoping to God somebody don't kill me in my sleep. That's prison. Is that where you really want to go? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I know so. Nobody wants to be subjected to this. Your life don't have to end tonight. So I had to get that off my chest, and I hope to God that this has helped a lot of folks rethink some things about the decisions that they are making as young folks. And as parents, that's your baby's future. You need to see the truth in your kids sooner than later. If your child is out of control, get them in control now, because you don't want your baby being raped in prison. You don't want them dying in the streets. You want them better than you, like I want my children better than me.